Greetings, YouTube. Our community here is, for the most part, a community of youth, the under 30 crowd. And yes, when you're 50, under 30 is youth. A lot of people here on YouTube are teenagers or in college, that age bracket, which is fine. We need more voices of people who will be affected by the policies being established by people my age bracket, speaking out and making sure that they have a positive effect on them in the future. So I'm all for everybody being involved in the conversation, don't get me wrong. I've noticed something about a lot of people in that community. Not everyone, but a lot of them. They often seem to have a difficult time grappling with the fact that all of us are problematic. That when someone they respect or like is revealed to have blemishes on their character, they often don't react well. When they discover that someone has warts, it throws them for a loop. That the person isn't the smooth, homogeneous, positive that they thought they were. That the person has aspects of their personality, their thoughts, their feelings, their past, that are less than stellar. All of us are problematic. Now, those of us that have had a chance to come to understand this can hopefully do something about those problematic aspects of our personalities, of our opinions, of our views. But even when we strip away the privilege and we get rid of our prejudices and any kind of discriminatory attitude we might have about a group or a person or a belief system, we are still going to be left with some things that we may hold opinions on or views on that would still be considered problematic. Because all of us have had different life experiences and all of us arrive at where we are from different roots. Now, I think I may have a little bit more perspective on this because I am 50. Right? I've had a chance to see a lot of people experience a lot of life. Not all of it, but a lot of it. I've watched people make the same mistakes again and again. I've watched the same people make the same mistakes again and again because they're not able to step back and see their own patterns. And I'm seeing these things with more clarity now because of my involvement in cognitive behavior therapy, in my ability to have gotten grips on my depression and had made major headway on my understanding of my anxiety, where it comes from, and more importantly, what to do about it. Because learning the source of something is good, learning what you can do about it now is better. As I've said, the past is a book. We can learn from it, but we can never change it. And dwelling on it is pointless. Just learn and move on. I don't believe in forgetting, but I believe in learning from it. I have not erased my past. I'm just not going to obsess about it quite as much as I used to. Hopefully someday, not at all. Now I hold problematic points of view, problematic beliefs, and no, I'm not going to discuss them here, because I know they're problematic. I know that they would make people angry. And no, I'm not a secret racist. But I do hold beliefs about certain things that I know would be considered controversial. And discussing them would not help anybody in any way. But they're part of me. And I've arrived at them with reason. Whether they're good reasons or not, I'm not sure. And I'm trying to piece them apart. I'm trying to figure out their underlying structure and discover if, in fact, they are beliefs I wish to continue to hold, and if I don't, where they came from, how to dismantle them, and what to do about them. Now, I may discover that you know something, I'm going to keep that belief. I will, however, give an example. I know someone who was an associate, not close, someone I dealt with on a regular basis, and we interacted regularly. Our conversations were a little bit deeper than small talk. We weren't friends. We were acquaintances, that kind of gray zone between stranger and friend. Well, the person one night got drunk, which is tasteless and probably self-destructive, but I can accept somebody getting drunk. But they got behind the wheel of a car and they hit someone. Thankfully, no one was hurt. And they damaged some property which had some other ramifications, which could have been much larger. They put a whole lot of people's lives at risk because they chose their own personal issues over the safety of others. They, in my opinion, made an immoral choice. They committed an immoral act. And I've severed ties with them. I still see them on a regular basis, as in I physically see them, their presence, but I just won't interact with them any longer. I'm done. They made an immoral choice, in my opinion. They did something that could have killed multiple people because they don't want to come to grips with their own chemical addiction problems. They are self-medicating because of their own anxiety issues as opposed to getting help from a therapist. And through drug addiction assistance. And that's what I'm talking about. Everybody's got problematic aspects of their personality. In this case, it's an extreme example. The person put other people at risk because they were selfish. And while I do not fault someone for having an addiction, I will fault them for doing things while addicted that hurt other people. It does not absolve you of responsibility just because you have an addiction. You are still responsible. And that's a hardline position, but that isn't one of my problematic issues. So, take it from the words of someone who's had a little bit more of a long view. We've all got problematic issues. Now, some of us who've had a chance to gain a little bit of insight into human beings have learned when not to talk about them and learned how to not hurt people with them. And my problematic views may change. I'm actively looking at them. I'm actively trying to figure out where they come from. And if I can, and I can piece them apart and find the root of the issue at hand, you may well or very, very well hear about them someday. Because I will have moved past them. And I will have learned something from the process. And I will want to share that with people. So, there you have it. I guess, be kinder to people when you discover that they have blemishes and warts. That under that social interaction mask that we all wear, there's a real person. And we need to relate to each other as real people. Real people aren't perfect. Real people are wonderfully modeled. Some of us are missing our fingers or toes. Some of us don't have quite the symmetry that you might wish that we did. Some of us have blemishes on our souls. But it doesn't mean that we aren't decent people, worthy people. And even though I have severed connection with that person I mentioned, it doesn't mean I don't have sympathy, empathy, and compassion for that person. I just cannot accept the decision they made. Because they made a decision that could have hurt other people. So my issue is with their decision, not with who they are. So, I'm not sure where this is headed. We can discuss it. If anyone wants to reveal problematic aspects of their personality, I guess they can. Be aware that depending on how problematic they are, other people may judge you for them. And for good or ill, it's what we do. I hope that something constructive can come out of this little video I've made today. It would be a nice thought, now wouldn't it? Thanks for listening. I appreciate it.